Happy Monday, everybody. My name is Brandon Rosa, and welcome to episode 69 of the Xbox in 10 podcast, your weekly source of Xbox gaming news covered in around 10 minutes. Every Monday, this podcast covers new game releases, the previous week's gaming news, and we all learn an Xbox-related fun fact together. This show is on YouTube and podcast services around the world, so please subscribe to your favorite and leave a review. Xboxin10.com, no numbers, is your quick source for links to all of our podcast destinations and social media profiles, which you can follow at Xboxin10. To start, let's talk game releases. There were no major game announcements last week, so let's talk about the upcoming games. These include Tennis World Tour 2, Rebel Galaxy Outlaw, Unrailed, Castle Storm 2, Twin Breaker: A Sacred Symbols Adventure, Tears of Avia, Going Under, Little Big Workshop, Port Royale 4, Troll Hunters, Defenders of Arcadia, and Mafia Definitive Edition. Now onto last week's biggest news stories, and we have 7 to cover this week. Number 1. Pre-order Xbox Series X and Xbox Series S starting Tuesday, September 22nd. This is by Will Tuttle, Editor-in-Chief of Xbox Wire. On November 10th, a new generation of console gaming begins. Xbox Series X and Xbox Series S will deliver players the most performant, immersive, and compatible next-generation console gaming experiences ever. Next week, beginning September 22nd, you'll be able to pre-order both Xbox Series X, our most powerful console ever made, and Xbox Series S, our smallest console ever, delivering next-generation performance at a more affordable price. Xbox Series S and X will be available in 37 countries on November 10th and 41 countries by this holiday. You can secure your place in the next generation by pre-ordering Xbox Series X at $499 or Xbox Series S at $299, or for a low monthly price through Xbox All Access, or grab both if that's your thing. Beginning on September 22nd, you'll be able to pre-order Xbox Series X and Xbox Series S online at the following retailers. I am only going to detail United States, but please see the article for all the other countries. Starting in the United States at 8 a.m. Pacific Time or 11 a.m. Eastern Time, you can pre-order the consoles at the Microsoft Store, Amazon, Best Buy, GameStop, Walmart, Target, Sam's Club, Newegg, and other participating retailers. For in-store pre-order availability, please check with your preferred retailer. Pre-order is also available via the Xbox All Access program. Xbox All Access is your all-inclusive pass to Xbox where you can get the next-gen Xbox console of your choice, plus 24 months of Xbox Game Pass Ultimate with over 100 high-quality games, and soon an EA Play membership from $24.99 a month for 24 months with no upfront cost. As with our standalone console purchasing, you'll be able to pre-order Xbox All Access starting on September 22nd, aligned with regional start times at the following retailers. Again, I will only detail the United States, so see the others if you'd like. Starting in the United States at 8 a.m. Pacific Time or 11 a.m. Eastern Time, you can do the Xbox All Access program at Best Buy, GameStop, Microsoft Store, and Walmart. Also, as a friendly reminder for existing Xbox All Access members, you now have even more flexibility when it comes to your upgrade path to the next generation. This means you are now able to purchase Xbox Series X or Xbox Series S with Xbox All Access at any time, including during the pre-order window, while still completing your minimum payment requirements for upgrade. We hope you are as excited as we are to usher in the next generation of console gaming with Xbox Series X and Xbox Series S. We'll be bringing you more details on both consoles, details on games, and so much more as we get closer to launch on November 10th. Obviously, I'm hoping you're listening to this podcast on Monday, with the next day being the big day for pre-orders. Given the huge debacle and fallout from trying to pre-order a PlayStation 5 the past week, with the pre-orders going up early, Xbox has done such an excellent job messaging how this is going to work on September 22nd. I, for one, am still looking for a PS5 Digital Edition. I refuse to pay a scalper. I just want my console. Sony, take my money, and I can't wait to pre-order my Xbox Series X on September 22nd. Number 2. Xbox Series S game sizes will be smaller than on Xbox Series X. Bo Moore at IGN writes, game install sizes are bigger than ever, so it's not unreasonable to be worried about the storage capacity of the all-digital Xbox Series S. The lesser next-gen Xbox has a 512GB SSD compared to a full 1TB on the more powerful Xbox Series X. However, one saving grace is that game sizes will be smaller on the Series S. In an interview with IGN, Xbox Director of Program Management Jason Ronald confirmed that game install sizes will be approximately 30% smaller on the Series S than on the Series X. This is due to the reduced resolution texture packages needed for games on the Series S, which will be targeting 1440p resolution instead of 4K on the Series X. Quote, with a performance target of 1440p at 60 frames per second, our expectation is that developers will not ship their highest level bitmaps to Xbox Series S, which will reduce the size of the games, Ronald said. Ultimately, the control is in the developers' hands. We've had this technology for a while that allows developers to intelligently choose which assets to install on which device they're playing on, so the flexibility is in the developers' hands to make sure the right assets are there, end quote. I for one thought this was really good news. It is obviously a huge concern given how big file sizes are for some games, Call of Duty Modern Warfare being one of note, being over 100 gigabytes big. If games continue to get bigger and that was the actual sizes on the Series S, you'd only be able to have maybe 4 or 5 games at one time. Good to hear that we should expect them to be just a little bit smaller to have more games on your console. Number 3, Gears Tactics is officially an Xbox Series X and Xbox Series S launch title, includes new update. Zachary Body at Windows Central writes, Gears Tactics was confirmed to be coming to Xbox consoles at some point in the future, giving strategy fans something to look forward to after the game garnered very positive reviews on PC. Today, Xbox Game Studios announced the console release date for Gears Tactics and revealed that the game will not only be coming to Xbox consoles this holiday season, but that it will be a launch title for the Xbox Series X and Series S, complete with next-gen optimizations. Gears Tactics will support Xbox Smart Delivery, meaning it'll take full advantage of the incredible hardware on offer with next-gen Xboxes, like 4K resolution and a consistent 60 frames per second on the Xbox Series X, faster loading times, and variable rate shading. All of this lands on the same day as the Xbox Series X and Xbox Series S, which will launch on November 10th, 2020. Gears Tactics will also be included in Xbox Game Pass at launch, but players can choose to buy it from the Microsoft Store if they'd like. This is cool to see some type of first-party presence by Xbox on launch day for the Series X and S. I played about an hour of this on PC and enjoyed it, just got busy with other games, so maybe I'll try and transition to playing this on the Series X at launch. Number 4, Xbox says developers won't be limited by Series S. Bo Moore at IGN writes, the Xbox Series S is a lower-powered console than the Xbox Series X, but Microsoft doesn't think that will be a limiting factor for developers through the upcoming console generation. In an interview with IGN, Xbox Director of Program Management Jason Ronald explained how the Series S's powerful CPU and fast SSD will allow it to deliver the same game experience as the Series X, simply with scaled-back visuals. Quote, the core capabilities are the same between the two consoles. Variable rate shading, DirectX ray tracing, the entire Xbox Velocity architecture, we wanted to make sure those capabilities were there, but ultimately it's within the developer's control to do what's right for the individual game, end quote, said Jason Ronald. Xbox Velocity architecture refers to the NVMe SSD both inside the Xbox Series X and Series S, which allow for drastically faster load times on the new consoles. In theory, it'll also change how developers can approach things like level design, as things like long corridors and unnecessary elevator rides will no longer be necessary to hide the long load times required of slower old-gen spinning disk hard drives. Quote, the areas that usually create the biggest challenges for developers, things like CPU performance and I/O performance, those are the things that were really critically important to us to make sure that they were symmetrical across Xbox Series S and Xbox Series X, because those are the areas that are really going to unlock kind of that next level of game design and that transformative gaming experience, and then developers are already really good at being able to scale up and scale down on the visual quality as they see fit for their players, end quote, Ronald said. Ronald also confirmed that while the Series S will target 1440p resolution, the system is fully capable of outputting a 4K signal, and will be up to the game developers to decide what native resolution they want their games rendering at. I think this continues to just be good news, but it's going to be a hot topic over the next generation. The Xbox Series S really seems to be such a beast at such a low price point. I can't wait to see how many of these are selling, and for all the players to get in the next generation at a lower cost. Number 5. Hogwarts Legacy RPG confirmed launches in 2021 for Xbox Series X, S, and Xbox One. ID Nicholas at True Achievements writes, ever since shaky footage of a Harry Potter game leaked in 2018, and probably sometime before, fans have been hoping for a Harry Potter RPG, something to let you experience life at Hogwarts, magic classes, Quidditch, the works. For a while it seemed the idea was held aloft by nothing more than wishful thinking, but after yesterday's PS5 showcase, it's finally been confirmed. Hogwarts Legacy, a Harry Potter RPG, is launching in 2021 for Xbox Series X, Xbox Series S, and Xbox One consoles. Hogwarts Legacy is a single-player action RPG set in the 1800s. The trailer showed a lot of the Hogwarts activities fans had hoped for, including potions, herbology, Quidditch, dueling, going to Hogsmeade, and more, but it looks like there's a fair few new things to do. There's a shot of two students riding what looks like hippogriffs over a new location, and a few creatures that look like they might have come from the Fantastic Beasts movie franchise. A press release adds that you can also head to the Forbidden Forest. You'll be able to customize your character and upgrade talents, and according to the game's site, you're a late arrival to Hogwarts, and soon discover that you are no ordinary student. You possess an unusual ability to perceive and master ancient magic. Only you can decide if you will protect this secret for the good of all, or yield to the temptation of more sinister magic. The description adds that your character is a student who holds the key to an ancient secret that threatens to tear the wizarding world apart. Discover the feeling of living at Hogwarts as you make allies, battle dark wizards, and ultimately decide the fate of the wizarding world. I thought this game looked way better than I was expecting. It doesn't mean it's a showcase for next gen, but I absolutely love Harry Potter. I never read the books, but I'm a huge movie fan and cannot wait to get my hands on this game. Hopefully it makes the launch of 2021. Number 6. No Man's Sky Origins is the next major update, and it's out next week. Wesley LeBlanc at IGN writes, No Man's Sky's next major update is called Origins, and it's coming next week. Hello Games' No Man's Sky has come a long way since its original release thanks to the many large updates and all the patches in between. Its next major update will launch next week, and the studio Sean Murray said Origins will be the beginning of something new. Quote, 4 years ago we announced Foundation, our first major update for No Man's Sky, end quote, Murray said in a blog post released today. Quote, it won't be our largest update, but it is the start of something. Those words were true at the same time, and they ring true for Origins. We called it Origins because it is the beginning of something new as No Man's Sky continues to grow and evolve, end quote. The blog post goes on to mention that the game's last major update, Beyond, which brought VR to the game and expanded upon its online capabilities, as well as the more regular updates the game received over the past year, namely Synthesist, Bytebeat, Living Ship, Exomech Crossplay, and Desolation. Quote, we know there is a huge appetite in the community for No Man's Sky content, and the team has worked our socks off this year to deliver in difficult circumstances, end quote, the blog post reads. Quote, we have been quiet, but we are always listening and focusing on improving that game that our team loves and feels so passionately about, end quote. Like the rest of No Man's Sky's updates, Origins is expected to be free for all players. As far as when players can expect to jump in everything new that comes with the new update, no official release date has been announced. We do know, however, that it's releasing next week. For all you dedicated No Man's Sky fans out there, and I know there is a lot, you have something to look forward to over the next week. And number 7, you can play Rocket League for free starting on September 23rd. Taylor Lyles at The Verge writes, we already knew Rocket League was going to be free to play this summer, and today the game's developer Psyonix has announced that the vehicular soccer game will go free to play on September 23rd. The transition to free to play also marks the debut of the game arriving on the Epic Games Store, a digital storefront owned by Psyonix's parent company, Epic Games, which acquired the studio last year. After September 23rd, the game will be delisted from Steam. However, the studio explains that regardless of which PC version you own, both versions will receive full support for future updates and features, such as cross-platform play, but you can't get it on Steam for free. If you buy the game before it becomes free, Psyonix will give you some in-game legacy rewards, including all of the Rocket League branded DLC, and over 200 in-game items used to customize your vehicles, such as antennas, decals, and wheels. Psyonix also confirmed that existing players will have access to cross-platform progression linking, allowing them to link their platforms to the Epic Games account and carry over their progress made on a different game platform. In addition to switching to the free-to-play model, Psyonix has also confirmed earlier this month that Rocket League will no longer require PS4 and Nintendo Switch players to have a subscription to play online. Xbox One owners unfortunately still need an Xbox Live Gold membership. Exciting news as Rocket League is one of the best games ever made and certainly in my top 10 games of all time. Disappointing though that Xbox still has this weird stance that you have to require Xbox Live Gold to be able to play. As always, we end our show with a fun fact about Xbox, and this week, given the pre-orders are launching, I just wanted to cover the launch Xbox Series X and S games that are new. These games include Assassin's Creed Valhalla, Destiny 2 Beyond Light, Devil May Cry 5 Special Edition, Gears Tactics, Scorn, Tetris Effect Connected, The Ascent, and Yakuza Like a Dragon. I'm not sure which game I'm going to play first, but I'm excited to hop around and see the power of my new console on November 10th. Thank you all for listening to the Xbox in 10 podcast, your weekly source of Xbox gaming news covered in around 10 minutes. If you like the show, please subscribe on your favorite podcast service, share it with your friends, leave a review, and follow on all social media at Xbox in 10. This past week I haven't dedicatedly played really anything, but I've continued to hop around and play around with Project xCloud. I'm really enjoying it and the tech has surprised me and exceeded all the expectations I had. Apple forced my hand and I got a new Android phone and an Android tablet, I also got the Razer Kishi controller attachment for my phone, and I can't believe how well that thing works and operates like a Nintendo Switch. Can't wait to see this tech improve over the years to come, and when I finish recording this podcast, I hope to finish Tell Me Why Chapter 3 in my bed via Project xCloud. My name is Brandon Rose. You can follow me on Xbox at Rosa93. I hope you all have a great week and keep on gaming.